17-point lead. And eventually it got down to where the deficit was 5 at the end, but they still were able to get out with the W.
And there's a look at these starting lineups. And in case you haven't had a chance to watch Melvin Eli play, this is a guy, a shot blocker supreme, as you would call him.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, John. I got a little stumble in there, and the reason somebody just slipped me a score, Duke is losing the ball, stay by 9. Are you kidding me?
We, of course, will continue to follow that one through.
Wow.
And Fresno State goes to the offense first. They're look down to Eli in the post quickly. Wake Forest closes on him. Finds Jackson, launches a three. Just off the mark. Rebounder, Wake Forest comes down with it.
And that's what they're looking for Jackson to be a shooter from that number 2 guard slot. Melvin Eli was the player of the year last year in a WAC conference.
I think Sungaila thought that pass was not for him, so he just let it go past him. Unfortunately, no one was behind him.
Jerry Tarkanian, you look at right now, 7th season at his alma mater, graduated there in 1955. He's 71 years young. I mean, the guy still, he's like me. He acts about 12.
Felix up high, but the shot, no arc on it. Scott grabs the rebound. It comes right to him. 55. This is the year I was born.
Wow. How lucky you are. There's that man-to-man defense being played right now by Fresno State.
Dawson wants to send it in. Singila on the baseline.
They're actually zoning right now. Playing a little matchup.
Shot clock dips under 10 now. Wake Forest has to go to work. Hicks. Shot clock at 3. Hicks knows it. Oh, and launches a little Allen Iverson floater.
That's a little Hail Mary time. I don't think that's Iverson. Now watch right now. They're going to try to go to a trap. That's their new style this year. There it is. Full court trap. That's part of Smith Cross's success down in Xavier.
Jeffries beats it. Oh, hello. What a finish by Felix.
I tell you, Felix very athletic. He shares the power forward slot along with Fuller, who comes by the way of Wabash Junior College, where they won the National Junior College Championship last year from out of Illinois. Felix is athletic. He should have split that time at the big forward slot with Fuller.
And again, a lot of time going off the clock. And Wake Forest comes empty. Offensive foul. Chris Jeffries a little bit out of control, runs a man over, and so we go the other way.
He's a pro, John. There's no question his game will go to the next level. Very athletic. He got a little homesick. He went to Arkansas originally for Nolan, liked playing for Nolan Richardson, but he's from Fresno, and he wanted to get back home. And he's going to be a big-time player all year this year. A Marco Polo guy, a transfer like Ryan Humphrey was to Notre Dame, Luke Recker to Iowa. Very positive player.
Howard trying to create something in the lane, leans in, nice job.
Very athletic. This style of play fits in perfectly. He had a big smile on his face when he said to me before the game, I really like this style, Mickey V.
To beat it, Jackson comes up with the ball, down to Eli, open on the baseline. Doing a great job of rebounding. Eli gets it back, out to Jackson.
Tough pass right there, trying to throw it to the defense. Looking diagonally, but a tough one. And Jerry knows that. He's won 80.3% of his games. There's Howard floating in the lane. Gets into the 3-second area. He's got great bounce off the floor. I mean, last year they were 12-0, and their season seemed to change after losing a heartbreaker buzzer game down there to North Carolina.
Dawson launches 3. That's good.
He can shoot the basketball. His uncle learned a lot from scoring from his uncle Jerry Stackhouse.
Jerry Stackhouse and his squad having a pretty nice start to the NBA season.
Yeah, they're doing a heck of a job. Rick Carlisle, Kevin O'Neal. Pistons have really been a surprise early. Stackhouse seems to be blended in under the new coaching philosophy. As you look at Skip Prosser, more solid down at Xavier. It's gave him the opportunity to get the job at Wake Forest.
Rebounded into the hands of Scott. Starts the other way. Broderick hits with it.
Preseason, they were pick number 5 in the ACC. Wake Forest. That could change.
Dawson rattles halfway down and out. Eli grabs the rebound.
Not a matchup on Dawson, though. He can make that shot.
Manby has it picked off. His pass, a good idea, except into the hands of Josh Howard.
That's one of the problems facing Fresno State. Point guard play. Demambi's really a number 2.
Yep.
They've been getting solid play out of a kid named Mitchell. I think we will see him quickly because Mitchell's a kid that played big for them in that win over Southern Cal at 17 points. And how they got him, John, was amazing. They got him after school was started 3 days. They had to get a point guard when they found out that Chris Sandy was declared ineligible by the NCAA. And they start researching, calling everybody up.
Shot clock is down to 2. Oh, that's a nice way to beat the shot clock. Antoine Scott.
He's another athletic player, a bouncer, a jumper, who should definitely fit in perfectly into this system of Skip Prosser. Demon Deacons, what a great school academically, private school.
A little late closing, though, on the defense, allowing open jumper for Demon Jackson.
He played behind Demetrius Porter last year, averaged about 15 a game. Not playing overseas. There's that zone. They're zoning up.
They're trying to answer back. There's a zone buster in a hurry. Frank Dawson.
They better find Dawson, John. They better find him. He can make that shot.
That'll get rid of that zone if he continues to knock down that shot. Now some full court pressure. Ball almost turned over.
A lot of bounce early here out of Wake Forest. 4 of their 5 starters have scored.
Wake 5 of 7 from the field to start this thing. Oh, nice tap from behind. Scott was reached in, didn't foul. Knocked it out of the hands of Chris Jeffers. It's earlier, but Wake Forest hasn't missed too often, especially from in tight.
Here in the studio, here we go, the finals of the Maui Invitational, Duke and Ball State. Ball State up early, but Duke here defensively making it happen. Daniel Ewing converts a 7-0 run for Duke. John?
Well, that's what you might expect, but if you saw the heroics against Kansas, certainly Mike Krzyzewski at halftime will be telling them, guys, you better come ready to strap it on for the second half.
They got athletes. They got kids that really believe. They play very fearless. Jackson, Williams, Smith for them, outstanding.
Melvin Eli with a little jump hook that he used the glass with.
Point guard is really going to be important, especially in the system of Jerry Tarkanian. That's why they can't wait to get Chris Sandy back. They'll have him for sure December 21st.
Sangala with a quick move, thought he was fouled. Right back to Wake Forest. Oh, look at Eli go up for the ball and gets fouled from behind by Josh Howard.
He's a dominating player. Came out of the Chicago area, played in the AAU for a great guy named Mac Irvin, whose son is academically ineligible. Is that, as you watch right here, the little jump hook, and there's Eli rebounding. Son Nick plays for Fresno State, has a chance also to come back on December 21st. Take a look at his percentage right there. Melvin Eli.
Howard picks up a couple of quick fouls. Mitchell, everyone thought he was just going to go directly to the hoop, but finds Felix.
I'll tell you, Mitchell, what a little, I'll tell you, surprise. Here's the kid that was enrolling at Panola Junior College in Texas when they did some research and they found out from Seton Hall's coaches and Miami's coaches that they had him in for a look. And the bottom line is nobody offered him really a scholarship. And here it is. They said, hey, we need a point guard, and he came down, and he's been such a surprise, Jerry said. They never had seen him play. They never seen him play, didn't know anything about him. They offered him a scholarship.
Jackson, an NBA three, well short, and he knew it, off Eli and out of bounds. How about that? You're about ready to get yourself set for a junior college season. All of a sudden, you're Division I.
And not only that, then he gets 17 against Southern Cal. So, again, we're all the experts who evaluate and rate these guys.
Somebody missed out. Sangala comes to the ball. Eli stays right with him.
Well, in the summer, they thought they were going to have Tito Maddox, but he was declared ineligible for taking some money from an agent.
Oh, nice job by Sangala to shield himself using the hoop.
Well, he could utilize either hand inside. His only problem throughout his career has been foul trouble.
Sangala with another rebound.
Shooting 75% on the inside this year in the first 3 games, Sangala.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, high percentage all the way. Was a star for the Lithuania team. Almost challenged and almost beat our Olympic team in 2000 in Australia. Had a lot of experience. I thought maybe he was a little physically tired last year after playing all summer.
Sangala launches and jump shot rattle. Scott with a foul.
Oh, the great Scott, baby, going to the rack. Little jab. Antoine Scott Howard are going to fit so perfectly in Skip Ross's system.
Oh, Mitchell drives again and drops.
Will somebody tell us, too, he's at Madison Square Garden? Clark is like looking saying, what is this? I thought I needed a point guard. Chris Sandy's going to have to lace him up. He's from out of Brooklyn, New York. Really had a dream to run a play in the NIT here, play at the Madison Square Garden. Was declared ineligible by the NCAA.
Well, one man's misfortune is another man's opportunity.
Well, you talked to Jerry about it. Not a half trooper. He said that the faculty rep had approved all the kids' classes. He did everything that the school told him to do, and then all of a sudden, they said they thought they had a question in the class, brought it up to the NCAA, and they said, can't play right now, first semester.
Well, Jerry Tarkanian, you know, they threw his point guard situation, as you mentioned, Dick, into total disarray, but Jerry Tarkanian feels he's just going to play through.
In fact, one time this summer, I was trying to figure out how I was going to get enough playing time for my point guards, and now we don't have anyone there. We're playing our two guard, Travis DeManvey at the point. He's never played there before, but he's doing as good a job as you could possibly do it, not having played there. And a freshman kid, Matt Mitchell, who has been the surprise of our basketball team, and he was the key to our victory against USC. He came off the bench and
on cue, Mitchell comes up with a steal. You mentioned coming off the bench, he had 17 points in that game, as Dick said earlier.
Sometimes you're better off these kids that are hungry, haven't had all that fame, the notoriety. That's what's happening down here at Ball State and those kids. How many of those kids you think were recruited by the major, big-time, high-profile, visible programs? I ask you one question. How many kids from Hampton University that beat North Carolina were offered scholarships in Chapel Hill? It's called hungry, desire, want to be better than those.
Duke only has a 3-point lead at halftime over Ball State.
That's pretty better than what Kansas and UCLA had.
It's not quite at halftime. Almost there. Dawson goes to the bench.
You know, you think about the WAC conference and the NIT. You think of the post-NIT last year, John. Tulsa came in here. Buzz Peterson did a great job with that team, and they came in and blew out Memphis and Alabama to win the NIT championship. And they're out of the WAC.
I think Antoine Scott can jump.
He's great bounce. So does Josh Howard.
Danilus.
Yeah, Danilus was really active in their last game. They think he's going to get some good minutes for them.
Hicks now. Shot clock again, winding down. Jump shot from the baseline, off the mark, and again, Fresno State doing a terrific job rebounding. Scott can't get it to fall. Timeout. Wake Forest with an early 7-point lead. Jared Jeffries and number 20, Indiana Hoosiers, take on the host team, Alaska Anchorage. College basketball on ESPN2. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
You know, it's ironic, John. Here we are sitting at Madison Square Garden, the home of the Red Storm, St. John's, and they're up in Alaska, where those people will treat them fantastic. I was there one year. They just treat you great, all the people out there in Anchorage.
And he can't get to the goal, and the putback by Fuller is no good, but he gets fouled.
Some other teams up in that great Alaska field include Indiana, the Hoosiers you just mentioned, Texas, Rick Barnes, Tennessee with Buzz Peterson, who won the postseason NIT, with Tulsa, Gonzaga, with Dan Dickow, and St. John's. They got a new guard everybody's going to really like, Marcus Hatton from out of Tallahassee, Florida.
Fortunately, Coach Jarvis seems like he's got a new guard every year because his old one is bolts for the NBA.
I saw Omar Cook just signed a contract. That's happy for him. He signed with Dallas, the Mavericks.
Fuller drops in the second.
Fuller played with a kid by the name of Antoine Barber. Everybody wanted him, and he just signed with Kentucky from out of Wabash Valley, where he won the Junior College National title under Spoonhour, Charlie Spoonhour's son.
Ron Downey ran out of real estate, I guess is the way to describe that one. Dribbled himself almost onto the Fresno State bench.
Downey's a diaper dandy, a freshman. They expect to get some minutes. He averaged 30 points a game when you're in high school.
The hole goes against Danilus.
Danilus, interesting story. Skip Ross was recruiting him for Xavier. And then all of a sudden had to change his tune and said, hey, I don't talk about Wake Forest. Both small, private schools.
I always like those situations. You go, remember how good I told you was at Xavier? Wasn't quite as good as Wake. Eli trying to force something in there. Comes up empty. Downey now. waiting for some reserves. Finds Lepore. Moved Danilus to a fake, and the ball pops right out of his hand.
Lepore, a transfer from out of Northwestern, where he was an outstanding scorer for 2 years in Antonio.
Things are tough coming underneath. Fuller had no room to maneuver himself. Great job post defense by Wake Forest.
Man-to-man defense now being played with Mitchell on the floor, pressuring the basketball. They rotate out of the zone into man-to-man. Fresno State.
I'll tell you, this is in-your-face defense by both teams. Danilus, though, tough shot with Eli right there and drops it over top of him.
I'll tell you, that's an impressive play right there by the freshman Danilus to be able to shoot that ball, as you said, John, with the extension that Melvin Eli puts in front of you.
14 last game out against Elon, but this is not Elon. Fuller, three-pointer, well off the mark. Lepore with the rebound.
Elon, that's Cupcake City, baby.
I was wondering if I get one on that.
You got to have a couple of those after playing against Arkansas and company. And it's good for the kids at Elon to get a chance to play in ECC school. They know they're outmanned. Just hustle and scrap.
Downey drops it down to the baseline and tries to run back for it. Big battle down in the post. Got to come out. Lepore fights his way into the glass. And a foul.
They're waiting for him to break out. He was solid when he played in the Big Ten at Northwestern under Kevin O'Neal. He has not broken out yet to show his ability to shoot the jump shot, which they know that supposedly is his reputation.
Foul starting to mount up. Lepore goes to the line.
Look at Foss had some good success against Bobby Huggins. I'll tell you, you said that, not me. I don't want Huggins yelling at me. He beat Huggins twice when he was number one. And I love doing the cross-down shootout. It is so special when Xavier and Cincinnati hook up. I'll be there again this year, December 14th on a Friday night.
This is where I should cue you for your so-and-so should play so-and-so.
Yeah, we should.
Georgetown should play Maryland.
Right.
All those matchups you like to talk about.
Cincinnati and Ohio State should become a reality. DePaul and Illinois should be a reality.
Mitchell taking his time getting the ball off the floor, then finally realizes he's got to get it down there. Fuller. Jeffries now into the paint and back out to Manby.
They've really quieted Jeffries down. He's their active slasher, driver.
He got careless. Lepore almost stole it. Shot clock is down to 8.
It's a big-time talent.
Lepore bails out Fresno State because they had things in total disarray before the foul.
Yeah, Lepore, you know, I mentioned his shoot troubles. In his first 3 games, he was 3 for 16. He's a much better shooter than that is. Look at Andre Patel. He's laughing. He's laughing. His beautiful lady sitting in a hotel watching it on TV, and here he is laughing. He told me, he said, "You better be good to me today, Dickie V. My lady's watching, scrutinizing." I said, "After I get done, you're not going to have a lady."
Lift left. A note on the door. Fuller.
John Clougherty with that call.
Yep. Offensive foul.
Yes, sir. Called it with authority. He also called it in 1989 in that Seton Hall game.
Oh,
baby.
boy. Don't bring that one up.
Oh, Seton Hall. And Michigan.
You know, you bring up Seton Hall, of course, you think of PJ Carlissimo and his dad, Pete, who was instrumental in running this tournament.
Vital. Very important. We wish him nothing
very
but the
ill,
best.
and we wish him the best. Absolutely.
Peter, beautiful man, has meant so much to Metropolitan basketball. Sangala with that left hand in the lane.
Mitchell trying to create something that is not there. Fuller underneath loses it. Ball on the floor. Look at a hustle by Wake Forest.
Hey, both these teams play really hard.
Whoa.
Oh! Hello! Up and away! A little high riser, Skywalker!
I did not think that ball was catchable. I did not even go into a play, but I was expecting that to go right off the glass. Man, 7-0 run and Antoine Scott. Sky.
Yes, sir. He can get up. He's a high riser. Quick timeout by Jerry. Jerry wants to stop that momentum. We're going to watch him kick it out now. They're going to flip it up. They know he's got great bounce. They know he's got great legs. Just throw it up to him. There's the jam, baby.
Had to step in 2 steps before he could leave his feet. His coach, Skip Prosser, likes it and likes the way these kids are adapting to his system.
It's a very interdependent system. All 5 guys have to buy into it. We have one trader, one guy who breaks down, and it's a layup line. So again, they really have to be cohesive as a unit to press the way we want to do it.
Here we are in transition. There they are, up and away. They got to like it. They recognize the open man. They enjoy this style. Most kids enjoy the transition game. They don't really like to be locked up into a half-court environment. Coaches do a really good job of studying personnel and trying to adopt your offense and defenses to your personnel. That's the first rule of coaching. Understanding coaching is to know your personnel, to break them down into their strengths and weaknesses, and then fit that personnel in your system.
Eli thought he had an opening. It closed on such a hurry. Look at that. They just close on him whenever that basketball comes. A little push.
We had him in our top 25 in our preseason magazine, Wake Forest.
Dawson knocks in a 3.
I tell you, they got a nice inside-outside play with Sangala and Dawson. Dawson can flat out put picks on the board.
Dawson averaged 15 points a game through the first 3 of the season. Demandby. Both ends of the floor, both teams working extremely hard defensively.
Well, that's been the trademark, certainly, of Jerry Tarkanian's clubs for years.
Noel Felix, count the bucket, plus the foul.
He's a very athletic kid. He can really run. He can jump. Very quick. He's got a nice little jump shot. You know, Tarkanian's first active among all coaches in the percentage. Think about this, John. 759 and 187 coming into this season. His 6 years at Fresno, he's won 134 games at his alma mater. First 4, very disappointing to him. To a lot of people, they would have been happy. He went to the NIT. His last 2 years, he went to the NCAA. He told us today that if he had Maddox on his club and Sandy, he thought he had a club definitely a shot to go to the Final Four.
Wow, that's saying something.
Because with Maddox, Jeffries, and Eli, he would have 3 guys, potential NBA players. And I really believe you have to have 3 NBA potential guys to make that run. You study and analyze most clubs, and then fill in some role players.
They have to be potential stars in the NBA or just capable of playing in the league?
Play in the NBA. You can play in the NBA. You got 3 guys on your roster, and then you fill them in with role players. You got a chance.
Fresno State is 1 of 5 from the line. That took 6. Knocks both of them down, and Wake Forest, the team that's been skying Antoine Scott. Dick, we hear Wake Forest Fresno State 28-16.
Let me smile those scores to the ACC commissioner, and Mr. Barakat, the associate commissioner.
Ball is still a nice job picked off by Jeffries.
Oh, you talk about a high riser, baby. You talk about athletic ability. Chris Jeffries, one of those enforcers, all Marco Polo guys at transfer, who's made it become a real factor.
Demandby reaching in on Dawson, gets the foul.
Oh, here he goes. Up and away. Dipsy-doo, Dunkaroo. Yes, sirree. Take a look at these Dipsy-doo Dunkaroos. Mr. Dean of Arkansas. I love Butler and Jeffries and Owens and Andre Williams down at Oklahoma State.
Greg Dawson knocks down one from long distance.
He said, that's where my Uncle Jerry used to shoot him when he comes into the garden against the Knicks. My Uncle Jerry Stackhouse. I can do anything he can do. Went to his wedding last year during the winter time. Around Christmas when Jerry got married.
Eli turns and drops it down. Nice touch from the baseline.
Yeah, nice little baseline turnaround J by Eli. You can see why he was such a standout in the WAC conference.
Mitchell gets up on Hicks. Scott. Dawson comes to the ball. Lean in by Howard. No, gets it right back. Gets his hand in the air. Oh, just didn't finish. A terrific move.
I know he showed some great potential as a diaper dandy. And then last year he had great moments and then up and down moments. And I got to think about the great job Dave Odom did with this program for 12 years, though, John. For 12 years, he did such a solid job as its leader. Had the Tim Duncan era, and certainly when he had Childress, Randolph Childress, and won ACC titles back-to-back years with Mr. Duncan, who's always been one of my favorite players. I'll tell you, watch him in the NBA, so complete. He's got his head on right. Just a great role model. He and his buddy David Robinson.
Say complete as a person and a player.
Exactly.
Hicks looks to drive into the paint. Eli was there waiting for him, but the foul is called against Fresno State.
John Clarkey with that call. You know, we mentioned earlier, 1989, that was the controversial call that put in a situation where Neil Robinson on the free throw line for Michigan, and he ended up winning the ball game. And Steve Fisher celebrated winning a national title. That's what.
And he had only been a coach for 2 weeks.
Yeah, 6-0. I told him he should have resigned. He replaced Bill Frieda.
Don't forget, after you're done eating up your turkey, you want to eat up some college football, find Ole Miss and Mississippi State. The winner of this one, the Egg Bowl, Eli Manning. You want to look at a great quarterback. College Football Thursday, presented by Circuit City on ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Eli has his man sealed, but they don't give it to him. He looks to Demandi, finally down. Eli went to finish, gets swatted from behind, and gets it home back and sticks it in.
Well, he stayed on top of it, stayed there right on the second effort, and he got himself the conversion on the interior. He'd probably be a late first-round draft choice. Now he's got to change his position on the floor. Certainly can't, with his size, play the post in the NBA.
Hicks almost loses it, has to pull it back out. Oh, look at this.
Look at that defense. Look at that defense by Jeffries. I mean, he's reminded me of Stacey Altman when he played for Jerry Tarkanian down at UNLV on the defensive end. I think you look at Eli trying to work inside, trying to get free to a single reverse spin move. His second effort stays with it. Just a good angle, lays it on the glass.
That's what it takes as Scott goes to the line. The way that Wake Forest has played defense here in the first half. It's going to take this effort.
I'll tell you, Tito Maddox would have been some point guard with this club. Very explosive. Had a chance to play at the next level. They would have had Jeffries, Eli, and Maddox, three guys that could have played at the next level. But, you know, he took some extra benefits from an agent. Didn't pay him back and had to pay the price.
See, now the team's shooting the ball very well from the free throw line. And again, from outside, no good either. Hicks takes it right to the glass, gets the finger off.
I'll tell you, there's that new system, up and away. Run, baby, run. You didn't see that last year in the Demon Deacon uniforms. They're going to love it down there. The fans are going to like that style. They're only going to like it more if they get into the win column.
Jeffries had to dump that down to Matt Mitchell. Unfortunately, Mitchell was out of bounds when he caught the ball.
Watch Wake Forest in transition, kicking it out to the wing, and then Hicks knows how to finish it. Explodes right to the basket. Out of Texas, high school in Houston, Texas.
Howard trying to lose Jeffries, spins to the top of the key. Hicks for three, no good. Wake hit the glass. It's going to belong to Fresno State, but two players on the glass trying to take it away from Eli. Wake Forest with a 12-point lead over Tark. Jerry Tarkanian trying to coach himself out of a 12-point hole as Wake has a 34-22 lead. Don't forget, when we're done on ESPN2, coverage of the Great Alaska Shootout, live from Anchorage. Jared Jeffries, the smooth one for the Indiana Hoosiers, taking on Alaska Anchorage. College basketball on ESPN2. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Now, I know, there's a look at the program from the NIT. I know Alaska Anchorage has a pretty good hockey team.
Pretty good at hockey up there?
Pretty good hockey team in the CCHA.
Well, I'll tell you, they better find some basketball players to try and stop Jared Jeffries.
Fresno State, good use of the ball, swinging around, but Jackson comes up empty on his jump shot, and Wake trying to run the floor. Jackson comes up with a steal. Whoops, forgot something.
He was a backup last year, the quarter, as I said earlier. I like this guy. That's a big-time move right there. You can see his quickness, his explosiveness. he could fit in perfectly in those years that Jerry had those great teams. He thought his best team he ever had was 1991. Johnson, Augman, and certainly Anthony. There's 3 NBA guys, and then he had 2 role players, Anderson Hunt and George Ackles. Pretty good memory to remember that 5, huh? They were 34-0 until they ran into a buzzsaw, the Dukies.
After they had spanked Duke the previous Final Four.
Yeah, by 30 in the NCAA championship at 90.
Pass underneath into a lot of traffic. Comes back out to Hicks. Open for 3 in Kansas.
They're really playing well. They're a veteran basketball team, but they're new in a way that they had to learn a new system. But they really are playing well. They got good rhythm to their game, John.
See the 3-point shooting, 5 of them for Wake Forest.
They now rotate into the zone.
Jeffries tries to answer back, nothing there. Eli comes up with a long rebound into traffic, short. Danilus gets the loose one.
What I like about this Wake team is they got a lot of balance out there. And I think Fresno State's going to be a much better team when they get Chris Sandy to play that point position.
Oh, how about Scott with the follow after Hicks missed the layup.
Very impressive first half here by the Demon Deacons. Last year they started off brilliantly. They were 12 and 6. You know, I was talking about Dave Oda. They went to the NCAA tournament 8 out of his 12 years there.
Felix in the crowd, soft touch, dances it down. Now, that's a good point about Dave Odom because in the ACC, you may as well chalk up certain losses.
Exactly.
With as strong as it is there.
Well, you know, really, sometimes a change is good for everyone. And I think after the 12-year period, the change for him to go to a new environment as South Carolina is good for him. And also now good for Wake to get a little change as well.
Felix with the rejection there, then Jeffries open. Couple of no calls on the charge, and Jackson lays it in.
I think Jackson got the deuce, but you saw some ability that if you're charting and evaluating Jeffries, you're going to be impressed. Sitting behind me is Ernie Accorsi, the fine general manager of the Giants. And I think he's looking at Jeffries and saying, you know what? He could be a defensive back. They need some help down there in the Meadowlands.
Well, wrong sport, but you're right.
But Ernie's cheering for his Wake Forest Demon Deacons.
Yeah, Ernie, of course, I'll go back to the Baltimore days with Ernie. Watch the follow here by Scott.
There it is. Mr. Scott really doing a job around that basket. You know, you look at the ACC now, and I know many people are writing off North Carolina, certainly after their loss to EA Sports by 31 to Hampton, and certainly to Davidson. I just think they got too much talent that they're going to regroup somehow and do a great job. Hey, look at this. Hey, Ernie, you're getting some PR right now. There he is, the GM, man. Here he is. Stand up, Ernie. Give everybody a look. Ernie, of course, he was
trying to hide.
He was eating some hot dogs a little bit earlier. He didn't bring us any food.
Hey, let me tell you about Ernie, of course, how far back I go. The Baltimore Colts.
Wow.
82 draft John Elway.
Wow.
Ernie, of course, he was running that squad. Of course, we know Mr. Elway decided not to report, and he wound up in Denver, where I think he did pretty well.
Yankees also drafted him, signed to Mr. Elway as well. He's one of those guys, gifted athletes.
Danilus, great ball movement by Wake Forest.
Yeah, they're really finding the open man. That shows you a little happiness and content with one another. Very active in that zone. We saw Syracuse in that zone. They were really tough out of that 2-3. Forced 26 turnovers against Michigan State.
Jackson was wide open but can't get it to fall. And now the shot clock is off. Hicks, I'm not sure whether or not he realizes it. But Wake can hold for the final shot if they want. Danilus does not want.
He said, no, I want the deuce, baby. I feel it.
Yeah, I don't think that was what Skip Prosser would have wanted, though.
Notre Dame was recruiting Danilus as well. They were interested.
Working hard, and so things are compounded for Skip Prosser in Wake Forest because he could have got the final shot, and now he gets a third foul. Don't forget, Ryan Kenny now with Digger Phelps for college hoops tonight. Syracuse and Michigan State, we had that one here early, and then also, of course, let you know what's going on in the Lahaina Civic Center.
We want to wish everybody also a great and a happy Thanksgiving. Digger and all the guys, Mr. Kenny, Mr. Reese Davis, and that whole gang, and certainly all our beautiful people in the military overseas, making us have the freedom and the security that we have in our life, and we wish them nothing but the best at this time in our country. And I'll tell you one thing, it was great today hearing all the military people chanting, the men and women, USA, USA, as the president got up to speak. It was really great, really beautiful.
Had a chance to run into Tom Ridge while he was traveling.
Oh, wow.
That's right, Department of Homeland Security. He's a big college basketball fan, too, so we had a little chat about that. But I said thanks to him for everything that he's doing for Homeland Security. Here's a look at the scores tonight, spreading things around for the Demon Deacons. Right now, we want to take you back to Brian Kenny and the Minister of Basketball, Digger Phelps.
West, Northeast, those areas, until the Taliban started to crumble. And then they moved south when the Pashtun tribes were more anti-Taliban. As a lot of them changed sides, then we put probably more special operating forces down there.
Once Special Forces team began operating in Afghanistan, one of their principal jobs was to line up targets for Air Force bombers, using pinpoint lasers and giving precise radio guidance from the ground.
There's no question but that the better targeting information we have, the better the effect is on the ground. And the air campaign has been going along quite well.
Take this, for instance. 2 gasoline tanker trucks destroyed. But how did U.S. warplanes find them? These men may have an answer. They say they were part of a convoy of gasoline trucks from Iran to Afghanistan. But they say they were stopped by Special Forces soldiers who spoke perfect Farsi, the language of Iran. The drivers were handcuffed and taken away in these light armored vehicles, last seen in combat during the Gulf War. And then American jets were called in to destroy the tankers.
The capability is definitely there to use, to insert special operating forces by air, by parachute or helicopter, or by desert vehicles. And conduct interdiction missions, which this sounds like an interdiction mission.
The equipment being used by the Special Forces in Afghanistan, according to military experts, is the most sophisticated ever employed in a war. But in the end, it is not the equipment. It's the men, and yes, the women, who make the difference.
The character, the grit, the cut of cloth that makes up a special operating soldier, or airman, or Marine, or Navy SEAL, in the armed forces of the United States. That's the real combat power, that type of individual.
And they are on the ground in Afghanistan tonight.
His star doesn't play up to his reputation.
Although we saw in game number 1 that Preston Shumpert didn't have a Preston Shumpert type game, but Syracuse was able to hold off Michigan State.
Well, Dwayne gave him a great performance with his career-high 24, and then they forced those 26 turnovers.
Oh, how about that?
Well, he didn't waste time. Mr. Jeffrey says, hey, guys, you like that, Mr. Saunders?
That's the easy assist that Mitchell's going to get. The ball popped into his hands. He just threw it right at the hole.
And they're going to go into that. We used to call it the amoeba defense when he had it down at UNLV, playing that zone. Starts out at a tandem up on top of 1-1.
Dawson, three-pointer, no good. And then we get the foul. It's going to go against Demambi. Went right over the back to Josh Howard.
You know, John, really important right in the first 4 minutes for Fresno State to go on a little spurt. As you're going to watch right there, Jeffries with the jam. Danny Tarkanian doing a great job assisting his dad on that sideline. Former quarterback and point guard when he played at UNLV in the 80s. He's a lawyer, too.
What's he doing this coaching basketball?
I know, that's what his father said. Loves it. It's in his blood.
Sangala trying to lean in to create something. It's not there. Hicks. Howard outside, no good. Jeffries with the rebound.
I'll tell you, he's a man, Jeffries. I really like his game, despite not having a good first half.
Eli turns on the baseline and drops it over Sangala.
I'll tell you, they've come back, John. Cut it down to 7. Let's see what happens with this zone.
Hicks wide open for 3. Good.
Hey, he's an improved player this year. He really looks to be playing under control a lot better. Seems to have a little more confidence to his game.
Averaged 8 points a game through their first 3 games of the season. 4 assists as well.
Last year they started Murray up at the point.
Jeffries had a nice dump down and found Noel Felix.
Felix got some good potential. I like some of the things I'm seeing him demonstrate on the floor.
Hicks, nice little ball fake. Jump shot's no good. Eli with the rebound.
This club's not going away either. Fresno State. They'll reflect Jerry Tarkanian. You don't win over 80% of your games for 30 years and not have an understanding of what to do.
Oh, how about that
what a beautiful move. Great change of direction. Uses the left hand. Now he's showing that big-time ability we heard about. Good 30-second timeout by Skip Blossom.
Jerry Tarkanian up off the floor, likes what he's seen right here in the first couple of minutes of the second half. Wake Forest lead is down to 6.
Drive, shoot the jumper, or make the pass. But he's going to take him one-on-one and break him down. And look at the lane. Nobody steps over to close off the driving angle. And there's the layup with the left hand. You know, the first 30-second timeout called in the second half becomes a full timeout. That's why you had a full timeout right there.
To Fresno State, now they've shot it in the second half. Singila had an easy chippy, but swatted from behind. Demandby comes out of there with it.
Sangila's been really quiet. He's only got 4 points here thus far. They got to start getting him involved a little bit on the offensive end.
Demandby, jump shot. Three is no good. And Wake Forest comes up with the rebound. Josh Howard finds Hicks. Oops. And Howard was not ready for that pass.
Fresno State was down 16 at one time. Got it down to 6.
Howard with it now. Wants to drive. Good job defensively.
Mitchell very active up on top. Kid that nobody wanted. Didn't have any scholarship offers. Was going to go to junior college. They gave him a call.
And Howard's pass for Singila was knocked out of bounds by Jeffries. So Wake's ball, but with 7 seconds on the shot clock.
At the ACC against the WAC. Wake Forest 2 years ago won the NIT postseason championship. Beat the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame to win it all. Robert O'Kelly.
Fouls on the floor.
That club that won that NIT, Robert O'Kelly was the MVP of the NIT.
That's foul number 3. Eli.
That's big right there. Eli gets that 4th. They're in major, major trouble.
Get a hole. Down low, this one against Jeffries. And that's his 3rd.
The guy you thought would have gotten foul trouble was Sangala.
Fouls mounting up for Fresno State, 2 of their stars. They're the 2 best on the team right now.
Get Sangala some touches.
Demandby had the steal, but loses the handle on it.
Sangala get it inside to
Howard. And gets a layup. Good ball movement.
Well, you know, they got the ball inside to Sangala, and they found the open man. You got to get him some touches on the inside. He can pass or he can score.
Demandby down to Eli. Could have been close to being number 4 on Eli as he dipped his shoulder there. Now Singila can't find a handle.
Get under controls. Bring it out, bring it out, back it up. Basketball IQ. There it is. Good play by Matt.
Playing off Mitchell. Jeffries with it now.
Attack that zone.
Demandby wide open for 3. Good.
That's his reputation. Shoot to Jerry. Nothing but nylon. Tarkanian's gonna like that. Jerry T.
Down to 5. Singila wants it, but Eli's kind of funny.
He's got 3 fouls. They're going to take tackle. Go to the basket.
Singila right at him. Comes up short. Nice job by Eli. Jeffries now. Little one-on-one.
Oh, could be 4.
No.
They got a little break right there. That could have been 4.
That was a dangerous gamble. As Hitt picks up the foul, but Jeffries easily could have been number 4. 5-point game.
Reverse it. Travis Demandby. Look at that great form. Squares it, knocks it down. MBN, John. Nothing but nylon.
And Dick, the Metropolitan Intercollegiate Basketball Association, that's the sponsoring body of the NIT, will contribute $50 for every 3-point shot made in this tournament to the Rusty Staub Widows and Orphans Fund for the families of the New York City firemen and police officers who lost their lives in the attack September 8th to 11th.
Nice entry on the inside for the layup for Felix.
And suddenly we got a 3-point game.
Really hustling out of that zone right now. Matching up. There's a communication.
Hicks with it.
Trying to shut off the inside to Sungala.
Scott's jump shot no good. Demandby gets the rebound.
See, I like them a lot better on the floor when Mitchell's playing that point.
Jeffries, no good. Howard grabbed the rebound.
Doing a better job getting back in transition and take away the running game of Wake Forest. They ran so well in that first half. Made some adjustments at halftime.
Some guy bumped by Felix and still fights his way in.
I'll tell you, good things happen if they let the big guy touch the rock out of the interior. From Lithuania, I really like his game, and he can really shoot free throws. Better than 80% rear shooter.
Jeffries down to Eli. Demandby, that's tough. That ball just hung up in the air too long.
That was floating. That was a defensive halfback's dream. Nice feed.
Dawson on Jeffries. Shot doesn't fall. Eli gets the rebound. Mitchell now trying to break it down. Demandby gets it back to him.
Play a little two-man game with Eli and Demandby.
Jeffries launches a three. A little deep. Felix with the rebound. Nice fake and pass down to Eli.
Nice look. Found the gap in the zone. Sitting in that zone. Eli wide open. Somebody broke down on a back line. Skip Russell not happy with that. Extending that zone. Really extending out here with Mitchell on a point.
Entry pass. Knocked out of bounds. It's still Wake Forest ball.
When I think of Jerry Tarkanian, I think of those great defensive teams that they had at UNLV. I think he's the freshman. There's a nice look, Felix. Good pass from the high post, down low to Melvin Eli. Finishes it. Little flush time. There's Danny Tarkanian, the assistant. Jerry's son. We think about the father and sons and coaching. You think certainly with Danny and Jerry, and down there Sean Sutton with Eddie Sutton, Charlie Spoonhour and his son, Jay Spoonhour. Valparaiso's got Homer and Scott Drew. You think down at Iowa's reverse.
That's right.
Steve and his dad, Sam.
My father's son and son father.
Son father. What a club the Hawkeyes have. I love Recker and certainly Reggie Evans. We're going to see them on Tuesday against the Dukes.
Singila left alone. Rattles it down.
Well, he can shoot the free throw. Now, you give him a wide open shot. 80% shooter on a free throw line. His eyes lit up when he saw the wide open Jay there.
Demandby swings it. Jeffries down to Eli. Nice. Back on the ball. No good. Knocked out of his hands.
Billy's got to convert that. They did a great job executing their offense.
Dawson's three off the mark. Tapped around. Fresno out of there with it. Jeffries again.
He can explode, John. He's got that great speed and quickness in the open court. They did a fantastic job. Jerry's such a teacher in terms of attacking the zone, and they don't convert on the inside with Fuller with the layup. Now watch this explosiveness right here. I mean, he just turns it on. He's got that good first step. I know Nolan Richardson was really high on him down in Arkansas.
You just see his eyes light up. He knows he's into a one-on-one situation. Howard with it now. Wake Forest does a great job.
What a block. Hello.
Hiram Fuller starts the break. Eli with the finish.
Hiram Fuller with the rejection of Melvin Eli. He becomes the beneficiary. They're back in this game, baby.
Demandby get the hand on the hip.
Remember, the winner plays Syracuse for the championship. The loser plays Michigan State in the consolation. They don't want to go home. There's that rejection. Look at a great angle on the block. Great timing. The ball is on its upward flight. I wonder if our buddy Billy Parker's watching. He played at Wake Forest in '62. They went to the Final Four with Lenny Chapo.
I think Singala's about to pass him on a career start as well.
Lenny Chapo was certainly a big star then. His son now playing for Dave Odom down in South Carolina.
Singala swings it back out. Turns into a turnover.
Give it up. Give it up. He's with us. Give it up.
Fuller, though, gets the putback.
They're waiting for Fuller to break out and be able to convert some inside plays. Showing a little spark here in the second half. The junior college player out of Wabash Valley.
Down to a 1-point Wake Forest lead.
Well, led by 11 and a half, 16 in the first half.
Oh, and now Wake Forest. Well, if that doesn't tell you everything, an air ball and then a missed dunk. And then Sangala missed and comes in. Reaching in for the ball. Get a timeout on the floor. Fresno State led by, or rather trailed by as many as 16. But the effort in the second half has it down to one. Falling down by 25. Don't forget, when we're done tonight on ESPN2, the Great Alaska Shootout. Live from Anchorage, Jared Jeffries and number 20, Indiana Hoosiers. Facing Alaska Anchorage, college basketball on ESPN2. For more information, log on to ESPN.com.
Indiana, a nice win in their first game. They beat Charlotte at Charlotte. One of the most underrated coaches in America. Bobby Lutz does a great job with that team. Good guard play. Brown and Toby Thomas.
Jeffries looks to drive and closes in a hurry. Mitchell maybe got away with a walk. What a great drive to the hole.
I'll tell you, the little guy has played well. I mean, you're telling me about a kid that didn't have a scholarship offer. Nobody wanted him. He was ready to enroll in the junior college. They researched and made calls, and they found out an available point guard who might be able to help him was Mitchell. They never saw him play. Gave him a ball. He came down, and he's been a real plus.
Move the ball around. Down loose. No good. Jeffries with the rebound. This is the first lead Fresno State has had in this game. Oh, wow. Oh, what a block, though. Tanalus took away what was going to be an easy dunk.
I'll tell you, Tanalus has got a little toughness to him. He's about a little Lithuanian as well.
And answer back, though. Ball knocked out of bounds.
Fresno State picked to win the WAC. You look at the WAC, Hawaii, if they get all their players eligible, Tulsa, UTEP, and SMU. Look at that block right there.
Whoa, wait, Dick. Roll that back again, guys. Was his hand coming through the hoop for that block?
I didn't see that now.
Let's see if we can get another look at it.
Help me out there, John.
I mean, that looked like an amazing block by Danilus, but you watch the replay again.
Look at Skip Russell. Look at the intensity on his face. Look at the emotion. Look at the emotion on his face.
Here it is, Dick. You
all right, take a look right here. All right, you see me, Daniel Street.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sirree. Yes, sirree. Got away with one. Got away with one.
I was wondering how he was able to make such a great block.
Got away with one
that quickly.
Hey, you know, I mentioned SMU. They just lost to Texas Tech at home. Bobby Knight winning his third in a row. Look at Mitchell now. Nice head fake. Taking that baseline. Nobody cuts off the baseline. Lays it on the glass for the conversion.
Wake Forest 4 of 21 from the field this half, including missing their last 8.
Fresno State's done a better job defensively in the second half.
Right there. Howard, though, on cue, knocks the ball away.
He's been quiet. Josh Howard's really been quiet.
Had nothing to do. There was 2 challenged by a couple of members of Fresno State.
Fresno State doing a good job rotating, helping one another.
The offense has just come unglued for Wake Forest.
And that's because of how active that zone has become, John. That zone has become really active. Skip Russ says there's got to be an easier way to make a living. There's got to be an easier way to make a living. It looked like they were home free, up 16 at one time. There's even more of a bounce out of their offensive game.
Jackson shot off the mark. Eli down there with the rebound and gets fouled.
I tell you, John, they're a little bit more hungrier right now, it seems, than Wake Forest. There's a little bit more of an activity among their players. They're more aggressive.
There you look at the second half statistics. 4 for 22 is not going to get it done.
That's Brick City, baby. You can build a lot of condominiums shooting like that.
Eli at the line already with a double-double, 14 points and 10 rebounds.
Boston's been quiet in the second half. He's had Zippo after a really strong first half, knocking out 4 threes.
First free throw of the half for either team. Changes on the floor. Sangala's going to come back in for Wake Forest. 4 returns.
He's the guy that's got to get more touches inside. Skip knows that life in the ACC is something going to be competitive every night. You look up on top of the ACC, certainly Duke and Maryland, and I think Virginia this year is going to have a big-time year. Peter Gillen, who was the guy that hired Skip Prosser as an assistant. Peter did a great job at Xavier before moving on.
Peter works for our boy Digger Phelps. Howard leans into that, so we know that Pete Gillen can handle anything.
Josh Howard, nice little 15-foot medium-range jump shot.
Eli draws a double team.
As soon as you double up, you've got to reverse the ball to the weak side and find that open man.
Eli wants it. Sungila all over him.
Trying to play two-man game with Jeffries and Eli.
Jackson open, three-pointer. Little deep, rebounded nicely by Felix. Off the glass, no good.
Jackson's the guy that's got to step up and make some of those threes. He's their number 2 guard with the reputation to shoot it. Last year they were able to get that conversion out of Demetrius Porter.
Felix picks up that foul as he's riding alongside Roderick Hicks.
Porter played in the same high school with Jeffries and Deshaun Stevenson out in Fresno, Washington Union High School. Can you imagine that? Stevenson now in the NBA.
Wake Forest remains ice cold.
They can't buy one, John. They can't buy one, but you got to make them pay in that spurt. They got to get the ball inside the Eli.
Mitchell launches a long three off the mark. Big Tark wanted that.
No, he stands up, but Jerry jumped up. He's not chewing the towel yet, though. He's not chewing the towel yet.
Sungila spins right into a double team. Howard with it. Hicks launches a three. Wow. They have gone as cold as possible right now. Oh, lob for Jeffries is good.
I'll tell you, he's got that quick acceleration. He just explodes off the floor. He's like one of those Spalding pink balls. Remember those rubber balls? And bounce, bam, those things used to go up.
Jackson hit with that foul. Sungila looked to drive. Well, here you go. You like to see a guy get off the floor, Dick. How about this?
Yeah, he's got that quick bounce. There he is. Up and away with the jam.
Fresno State trailed by as many as 16. But right now they have a 1-point lead. Don't forget, after you're done eating, Eli Manning, Ole Miss, facing Mississippi State. The Egg Bowl trophy up for grabs. Coverage begins with College Game Day at 7 Eastern. College Football Thursday, presented by Circuit City on ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Now, that's Eli Manning. And this is Melvin Eli.
Yeah, Eli Manning finally got to wear a Rebel uniform, what his daddy did, Archie. Took a few years to get a Manning in that uniform, but they finally got one.
Missed out on Peyton. Oh, the foul is going to go against Fresno State. And Hiram Fuller, he's the one who wound up with his butt sticking to the floor, trying to stick with Sungila.
Trying to get post position inside. Sungila would not give, and this kid's a heck of a free throw shooter. Watch me jinx him now. Better than 80% in his career at Wake Forest. You know, I think about Wake Forest, and you look at Skip Prosser. I think of Xavier's team last year. He had a great player. A lot of people don't know about David West, who I thought was the best player in the Atlantic 10 Conference and one of the premier players in America. Made my top 15 in my magazine. Thad Matta is at Butler. Now at Xavier. Actually really one of the favorites in that Atlantic 10.
Sungila, you talked about his free throw shooting. He actually hasn't shot it that well this year. It's only 3 games. Right about 62%.
I know that's not customary for him. He was 1 for 4 in a game against Wilmington.
Felix, Sungila gets out on him. Mitchell now, cut off, then drives, dumps it inside. Fuller can't get it. Still belongs to Fresno State.
I'll tell you, I get amazed when I hear the story. Mitchell, it's stories that really excite you. When you hear about the little guy that doesn't have a chance, and he comes out and he proves he can play with all the big guys. I love those stories.
Demandi. And here's it to Felix. Tough shot. I think he was waiting for a whistle there.
The whistle wasn't going to come. You know, you mentioned about guys. As you watch Mitchell right now, he's going to dump it inside. He said, come on, you got to convert. I'm going to give you the rock. You got to score. Great story on Wake Forest when Dave Odom got Tim Duncan. He wasn't heavily recruited. Went on to be player of the year.
Sengala now with Felix on his back. 2-4. Hicks. Sengala again turns and draws a crowd.
Jeffries with the block. Yep. Over from the help side.
Mitch has got a little show in his game, too.
See, I understand now what Jerry meant when he said you add Tito Maddox to this mix. I mean, that's a special team. Because he's a man playing the point guard now.
The man be for three, buries it.
That's why he's more comfortable, John. He's in a comfort zone at the 2 slot versus the point.
Which is why you're absolutely right. You like Mitchell out there. Whoops. Somebody made a mistake defensively and missed an assignment. Antoine Scott.
I'll tell you one thing. He better not have missed that shot and hit the back of the iron there.
Ooh, and Tark with a little pounding of the scorer's table. Wants to know who missed that assignment.
71 years of age, and his heart and soul and his passion still in it on that sideline. I mean, he's coaching like he's trying to win a contract, trying to earn another day. You're going to watch the man be now, spotting up. He says, that's where I want to be, Coach. Coach, put me out there where I can shoot the J, baby, and I can shoot the rock. I want to shoot the rock, Coach, especially in the big city, in the Big Apple. I want to shoot it in New York, baby.
Well, he was playing his first point guard position earlier in this tournament since the 5th grade.
Is that right?
Demandby had not played points since the 5th grade.
Wow.
So he's much more comfortable.
You're teaching me something here, man. I didn't know that. Oh. You're going to take care of this throat. You got a lot of work in football.
I know.
You got a lot of work in football. Look at the man. He's got the smile. Nothing like tickling those twines.
If I ever have to rest my throat, I'm sitting right next to the next guy, the right guy.
Hey, Duke finally got that championship. It was a little tough in terms of that first game where they were on the ropes big time against Seton Hall. We saw them on the ropes here last year in the NIT against Temple.
Howard steals it, and it's knocked out of bounds by Demandby.
Yeah, John, Fresno State really woke up in the second half. They were 1 for 11 from the 3 in the first half.
Sengala looking to drive, nowhere to go. Well, Eli doing a nice job. The follow by Howard, tip. Fuller comes down.
Fuller and Felix have played fairly well at the power forward slot, splitting that time.
Demandby, Eli wants it, and Scott gets called for the foul.
See right now, look at Eli. He says, no, you can't bring it in here, Darius. Can't bring it in here.
Eli has to. Oh, skies for the hook. It won't go. Working on the glass. Fuller has it swatted away. Hicks. Hicks with a dump down to Scott.
Nice pass. Scott showing his athletic ability. We've seen a variety of dunks tonight out of Mr. Scott. They got 2 forwards who can really be explosive in transition, and Scott and Howard.
Wake has regained the lead.
Demandby off a little curl move, looking for that jumper.
Jeffries cut off on a baseline, pulls it back out.
They're going to set a screen up with Demandby. He wants the rock.
Well, Jeffries again out of control and gets bailed out. The foul against Wake Forest.
That's the second time he could have possibly had his 4th foul. That's here. Here's Jeffries now trying to go to the goal. I mean, that to me looked like a charge right there, John. And Skip Ross there, they can't believe it either.
Wow.
Got a little break right there. I mean, that turns the game around because he gets 4. Wow.
Somebody make a free throw, though.
You got to convert now. You're getting into winning time now. You got to convert on that free throw line.
5 of 12 for Fresno State. Felix comes back in. Fuller goes to the bench.
I'll tell you, John, it's only getting better and better when we think about all the games coming up. Friday we'll have that championship. You and I head out for the ACC Big Ten Challenge Tuesday and Wednesday. We have Iowa, Duke over at the United Center in Chicago Tuesday night, and then Indiana, North Carolina.
Hicks from deep. So you don't talk about the Tar Heels yet. There's another ACC team. Got some work to do.
That was a big one. Hicks spotted up. Got the open look from the wing. Found the gap of that zone. Big question is, will the Heels get their first W?
Wow, that's hard to imagine you saying that. Jeffries, Howard got there first.
Oh, nobody wide open. Lack of communication. So important on the floor to communicate to one another, to understand responsibility.
We had one easy one at both ends of the floor. Guyla drops it down, dribbled out of bounds, but last touch by Fresno State. I believe you could have scored this one.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of easy baskets tonight. Little ball reversal, nobody there. Open layup, and another little dunk.
From the preseason NIT semifinal, winner faces Syracuse, a winner over Michigan State. Don't forget, order ESPN Full Court now. See over 450 college basketball games this season. Watch your favorite team or conference no matter where you live. See the games you want by ordering ESPN Full Court today. Call your cable operators or DirecTV at 1-800-DirecTV or the Dish Network 1-800-333-DISH.
Hang in there, man. Hang in with that throw. Hey, my daughter Sherry and her husband Tom, they got me down as a gift. I'm going to have all that hoops, baby. That's what I need. More hoops.
That now?
I need more hoops.
Singala.
Oh, he won.
Yeah, they got it. They got it.
Joe Lindsay with the call. John Clockerty smiles at us. He's earning his money tonight. Watch this here. Going to take a little dance. Comes up with the ball. Gets control of the ball. Traveling music. Swinging the ball side to side, trying to get a one-on-one for Jeffrey.
Oh, sheesh. That wasn't a block. Antoine Scott was playing volleyball with that thing.
And that's rejection city, but the one thing you like to block the shot and keep it in play.
Yep, absolutely.
Bill Russell was a master of that years ago with the Boston Celtics. Kept the ball alive, kept it on the floor, and usually led to a transition layup.
Sarkanian calls the timeout here.
He wants that 760th win. He told me today, he said, man, I don't want to retire. I wouldn't know what to do.
So here's Tark talking about the word he does not want to mention. Call it a dirty word, retirement.
Well, I enjoy association with the players. I enjoy having something to do when you get up in the morning, have someplace to go. You know, I always worry about retirement because I really don't have any other hobbies. You know, like one of my best friends is our good friend is our football coach, Jim Sweeney, and he retired, and I talked to him quite a bit about it. And he's really happy because he plays golf 5 times a week. I never played golf, so I don't know what I would do.
Take a look at those winning percentages coming in for the season. You see our guy Jim Boeheim on that list as well. Johnny Crest down at the College of Charleston. What a job. And Lloyd Williams, we know the amazing job he does every year.
Clock is at 7. Jeffries trying to launch an offering. Howard gets the easy rebound.
He hesitated, pulled back on that shot, and didn't have a smooth release to it.
I think he thought he got fouled.
There's that active zone. Yeah, every guy when he misses and throws a brick, he gets fouled in their mind. It's a mentality, a mindset.
Wake Forest calls a timeout.
Now, both clubs, when you look at athletically at their programs in football, they've had good years. Wake Forest isn't just to be bowl eligible if they win. Jim Grove's club, they win Saturday, their 6th game. They can go to a bowl. And you look at the year they've had down at Fresno State.
Oh, yeah.
They started the year beating, did they not? Oregon State. They beat Colorado. Yep. They beat Wisconsin.
Right.
And then they lost 2 games they shouldn't have lost to Boise State and Hawaii. But they're 9-2, and David Carr has done one heck of a job as quarterback.
Hey, I'll tell you what. If I don't have a voice for college football on Friday, I'm just going to send you in there with Terry Bob because you know your college football too.
Well, let me tell you this. Grossman should be the Heisman Trophy winner down in Florida. As we look at the brackets right here in the matchup, and I'll go one step further. The beauty of college basketball is you can lose early, and it doesn't affect the chase of the dream of the title.
Yeah,
look at Florida
every
Gators.
game counts.
Well, look at Florida Gators. Football. You lose to Auburn. They're the best team in football right now, Florida.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, they're certainly one of the top 2.
I think Miami, Nebraska are shade above them.
Oh, no. I'd like to see them play Miami. I'd take
shot clock is at 2. Beat the buzzer, but come up empty.
You and I are going to battle that one after we go in your car up to the hotel. We're going to battle that. I'll take the Gators, man, and Grossman, you take Dorsey in Miami. What does Terry Bowden say?
He likes them all. French clock.
Here they are in that matchup. Well, the Amoeba start out with a point up top. Mitchell.
Hicks had a shot and he gave it up there. So Skyler from the baseline chases down the miss. It goes out of bounds though.
They are struggling offensively. Yep. And they seem a little fatigued. They seem a little bit tired. Could be the system, playing all those minutes up and down the floor. Played that half-court game under Dave Odom, and now are adopting to a new style. I know they're going to love the style, though, as Skip Prosser. He's got some solid recruits coming in also in the future. They're going to really like it. Sign 4 quality kids.
He could use them if they could shoot this year because his team is 8 of 34 from the field this half. Felix off the mark. Eli strong with a rebound and the flush.
Good offensive rebound on the inside. Nobody blocks out. He gets the inside lane. They've had the better bounce in their legs here in the second half. Wake played a brilliant first half. Might have been their best first half they played this year.
Howard out to Hicks. Hicks no good. Deep with the shot.
Now shot selection becomes so important, John. Understanding who on your team that you want to take the big shot. You must go to the right people. A little double stack now ball by Tarkanian.
Preseason NIT winner of this one gets Syracuse, who knocked off Michigan State.
Jim Boeheim with that 2-3 zone. Very effective today.
Shot clock at 10. Jeffries has to recognize that. Swings it back outside. Mitchell drives, floater, misses everything. No clock change. And you get a 35-second violation.
Yeah, John Clarkley with the call. Violation. The ball must make contact with the rim or with the flag.
Some people call it the flange.
The flange. What did I say? Flange. I was slipped. Thank you for correcting me, boss. I appreciate it.
See the timeout situation? Under a minute.
Is that 2-3?
Huge play for Wake Forest. Jump shot's no good. Sangalo with the rebound finds Hicks.
Sangalo second opportunity, but they turn it over.
Greg Dawson. It wasn't his fault. That was out of his reach. But touches it, ducks it out of bounds. 6 seconds differential between the shot clock and the game clock. And Fresno State wants a timeout.
Tarkanian's kids battled the battle, never quit when they went down 16. 16 down in that first half, 11 at halftime, and just came out and battled the battle after shooting so poorly in the first half.
They watch this turnover, but as we take a look at this, Vic, question to you is if you're Wake, even though there's time left after the shot clock, Fresno State 6 of 13 from the line. Would you foul right now?
No, I don't foul right now, John. You got to play solid defense. I know you can look at that, but those stats can be misleading. At the end of the game, with the pressure, some kids really react to that. I think you got plenty of time to play solid defense.
Okay. You know what our boy Jim Valvano
he would believe in fouling. Yeah, there's no question. Every coach has their different philosophy. I think you got to dig in on the defensive end.
Didn't like the foul getting off the bus. In the situation, 35 seconds left. 29 on the shot clock for Fresno State.
You just don't want them to take that clock all the way down now. I mean,
with the athletic ability of Fresno State, they can force you into a foul. Mitchell into traffic. Back out to Jeffries.
Spinning the court. Spinning the court. Little one-on-one.
Jeffries drives down the lane. Dumps it off. The reversal by Felix. And there's what you talked about. You've worked the clock all the way down and commit the foul.
Well, they did a great job offensively as well, spreading the court. Good execution by Jerry Tark's kids and opening up the floor and creating the opportunity, but now you must convert.
Well, if he makes them both, worst case scenario, Wake Forest can tie it with a 3.
And Dawson's the guy that can shoot the 3, even though he's got a poor second half. Didn't look good on that free throw, so they found the right guy. Look at Jerry. Look at Jerry. He can't even watch anymore. I mean, he wants to enjoy Turkey, and he knows the only way I'm going to enjoy it is if we can get the W.
As if we don't drop a turkey here, Madison Square Garden. Comes up empty.
Plenty of time.
And a timeout called by Hicks for Wake Forest.
Well, with the 1-point deficit now, John, I got to go inside the Sangala. He's got to be the guy that's got to get the touch for me around that basket, and he's got to prove as a veteran player. Now, remember, they've been tested already this year in a real mail-ox masher when they were on the ropes against the University of North Carolina Wilmington, and Sangala won the game on a dramatic play from Murray to Sangala.
2.7 seconds left as well. See now Wake Forest has used their last timeout. But probably incidental at this point with 10 seconds remaining. Sangala has had a difficult time fighting his way free of the post players from Fresno State.
Yeah, they got to get a screen inside for him, a little head fake, and try to avoid the contact and go to the foul line to win it, because he can shoot free throws. I know his numbers this year aren't as impressive as they've been over his career, but he's the guy I'd like to put my hopes on right now. If I was certainly the coach on that sideline, Mr. Prosser, he'd be my number one option, John. Going to the interior. We're only down one. We certainly don't have to think about any three.
Well, the only reason there's a game right now is the great defense of Fresno State has forced Wake Forest into shooting 8 of 36 here in the second half. So the fact that it's a one-point game is amazing.
They've had a tough time trying to attack that zone. Let's see them matching up here. Here it is. Who's going to go to the final? Who's going to go to the final? Clock's winding down. Sangala.
Howard.
Oh, what about interference?
I think you might want to wait that one out if you took another look at it.
Oh, they tapped it down.
Oh, man.
Did he touch that?
I think so.
You don't know how to touch that ball over that cylinder. Doesn't matter what we think. They made the call.
It looked like Howard's shot was going to drop had Sangala not touched it. But it looked also like he was in the cylinder. Let's take another look.
Tough angle. I was blocked on my view here.
Oh, that ball looked like it was on the iron.
That's right. Here's a closer look. Let's see the tip.
That ball.
Very close, John. I'm going to tell you, that baby.
It definitely grazed the iron again, coming back down before Sangala gets it. I think that's in the cylinder.
Oh, what I'm going to defer to you. I'm going to defer to you. Let's see. Can't interfere with it up on a cylinder. Oh, if you can't decide, you're not conclusive, as they say. The ref is right.
Yeah, good point. Good point. We've looked at it 4 or 5 times.
It's very close.
We can't make the call decisively. He called it the right way, but the situation is we've still got almost 2 full seconds remaining for Fresno State to get a shot on.
And they're pressuring the baseline. They're not going to give him that look. That's what happened in 92.
You got to play.
You got to play that kind of baseline. I really do. Rather than 5 against 4. What about the game with Duke and Kentucky?
That's it.
They steal another one. They win 3 tough games, baby. Wilmington, Arkansas, and here are
Here you go. Well, he just would love to fly away, wouldn't he, today? Usually you sit very calmly. Okay, go ahead. There you go. You see how brown and white he's like spotted on his feathers? That helps him hide from something that might want to hurt him. Jeanette, Jeanette. He just sits very quietly. What kind of a mammal? What kind of animal is that? He's white, that's for sure. What kind of an animal is he? Red. He has pink eyes, doesn't he? There's a very special reason for that. Remember I told you about the colors on the owl and how that was his camouflage? Well, this animal was born without any of his camouflage. And that's called being an albino. So his eyes are pink. He doesn't have color in his eyes like we do. He doesn't have color in his hair like we do. And that makes it very difficult for them to hide from something that might be coming to them. Does anybody know what it might be?